Hi there, I'm Bonnie Fuller. I'm the editor-in-chief of HollywoodLife.com. We've got to talk about Kim Kardashian and Kris Humphries and the end of their marriage. It was the finale of Kourtney and Kim Takes New York last night. And as I watched it, I was completely struck by how fake the whole marriage seemed. And it occurred to me, you know, I've known a lot of people who've recently gotten married, and nobody behaves the way this pair behaved, especially how Kim behaved. I mean, you know newlyweds, number one, aren't they usually really in love, really affectionate, really not wanting to be separated? And of course, Kim and Kris barely touch each other through the entire series of the show. And of course, Kim has spent most of the show, most of the series, talking about how she feels a distance with Kris, and she feels dead inside, and she feels like a different person when she's married to him. So that in itself is very un-newlywed-like. However, have you thought about the fact that most women who get married, most brides, they're obsessed with the follow-up to the wedding, getting the thank you notes out. I mean, I know I wrote thank you notes for months after I got married. Kim had a huge wedding. Not once does she even mention that she's stressed because she's got to write thank you notes, or they've got to write thank you notes for all of the gifts that they got. Number two, she never talks about the gifts. She never makes plans to see the gifts. Number three, she never talks about her wedding dress and about making sure she gets, well, her 3 wedding dresses in storage and taken care of so that she'll have them to show her children and her grandchildren. That in itself is odd. Number three, no talk about a photo album and putting it together and looking at the wedding pictures or looking at the wedding video. And for that matter, no talk even about the wedding special that would have been happening while this show was shot. The wedding special aired on October 9th and 10th, just before Kim flew to Dubai with her mother. So all of that is just unreal, not even fake, it's just unreal. No bride has any wedding, let alone a $10 million massive wedding, and then never does any follow-up on it, never talks about it, thinks about it, deals with it. Number two, what bride disses her sister-in-law, especially one she likes, supposedly, within a month of getting married? Less than a month. Kim's sister-in-law, Kayla, comes to town for Fashion Week in New York City. She's going to be walking in a runway show. Now, that's not even mentioned, but here's what is mentioned that's so unreal. Kim insists that Kris has never told her that Kayla's coming. I find that hard to believe. And number two, she's too busy to even see Kayla, let alone go to see her in the runway show, Richie Rich, that Kayla walks in. And in fact, there were 3 empty seats in the front row next to Kris because none of the Kardashians made it to her show. Now, Kim got married August 20th. The fashion show was September 13th, less than a month after the marriage. If you're on decent terms with your in-laws, which Kim was, you don't diss your sister-in-law and right then, like within 3 weeks of the marriage. It's just not done. Okay, one final thing, just so I can give you an example. Kim, in one of the episodes, talks about how she really needs to contact her father. He's dead, but she wants to go through a medium to speak to him, Robert Kardashian, because she needs some comfort. And she confides to the camera that she's having so many issues with Kris, so many issues and concerns. She really needs to reach out to her late father. Now, it turns out they have the reading with the medium 8 years to the date after her dad died. So that's September 30th. It's a Friday. Now, that is, again, only about 6 weeks after her marriage. So are we to truly believe that within 6 weeks of the marriage, she already was having so many issues that she needed to consult her dead father to find out what to do or to get comfort? It just doesn't make sense. And we've never seen throughout the entire show Kris being rude to her, verbally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive. There's none of those big things, big problems that would make a woman go, I am done with my marriage after 72 days. So all we're left with is It sure seems fake. What do you think, guys? Tell me. Love to hear it. Bye.